To being with us in this discussion on the latest developments of RINA is an indication, I think, of appreciation to what we are doing, and also the thing that every day is happening something, I think, is an indication why RINA decided to put more weight in our country. And I don't want to anticipate anything. Mr. Sulfaro will give later all the details. I just wanted to present that with us we have today our CEO of RINA Services, Mr. Nello Sulfaro.
Morning.
We have Mr. Massimo Volta, which is the Senior Director of Europe, Middle East and Africa. We have Mr. Stefanos Chatzinikolaou, which is our Senior Manager of the Global Marine Training of RINA, and Ms. Maro Varvaté, which is one of the Business Development Managers of our office, taking care, bringing the knowledge of ship owning capabilities and experiences, also with engineering knowledge, and I think is useful to our team. Many other people are, but have to be working around. We will present. We have Eli, who has been organizing not only this but every event that we do, and otherwise would not happen. So thank you. I pass immediately the floor to Nello Sulfaro for his presentation.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being here. This is my second time in Greece since I was appointed as CEO of this company last summer, and I think that my visit to Greece will be more and more frequent, not only because this is a beautiful country, but because as our strategy we think that Greece will be more and more an important focus in our network, in our activity. The reason why we would like to share with you some let's say info is mainly due to the operational changes we made in our organization, where the main focus is Greece. But I would like to introduce this moment. Just I have a few slides giving you really briefly some numbers of what RINA is doing in these last years. So if we can just have a look to the screen. This is RINA, the RINA classed fleet in the last years. As you can see, we are very proud of it, and we are growing in the last 3-4 years at an annual rate of about 8%. So our fleet is growing a lot. Consider the last year we passed from 40 million to 44 million GT, and 50% of this increase is coming from Greece. So Greece is playing an important role in that, in that growing that you can see there. This is just to compare our, let's say, performance in the Ajax environment. This data are from Clarkson, and this is the second or third year that we are growing about 8-9%. And we are sailing, let's say, at an average 3 times more than the Ajax average. Ajax average is 2.1, and this is quite good. Mainly, most of the acquisition, we are talking about shipping service, of course. Most of the acquisition are, as I said, Greece and North Europe. We are doing a good job also in Asia, but the two main areas that are just let's say, giving us this result are North Europe, all the North Europe, and Greece mainly. This is very short, our fleet. 50% of our fleet is composed by bulk carrier and tanker. Then we have 16%, that is a very big number, because this is one of the sectors where we are leader, this passenger ships, and Ro-Ro. Ro-Ro, the 12% is only Ro-Ro cargo. If we consider Ro-Ro cargo, Ro-Ro packs, our share is 22%. 22% of our fleet is Ro-Ro. In the Ro-Ro sector, as you know, probably we are the world leader. We are the first classification society in the classification of Ro-Ro ferries, passenger Ro-Ro ferries. And then you can see the other categories. down. And just a quick look also to the order book. This order book reflects more or less the situation of the market nowadays. 55% is our order book on passenger ships. We are quite busy at the moment in the main shipyard building cruise ships and RoPax ferries. We have a big team in Papenburg, in Meyerwerft and Turku. We are always present in Fincantieri, and we are working also in Asia, where we have some project of RoPax of Italian owners and Switzerland and then MSC actually. Right. This is the Greece. Our performance in Greece. As you can see, in the last 2 years, we are double-digit growing. I mean, actually more than double-digit because it's 20% growing each year. You can also see a composition of the fleet we are getting from Greek owners. Mainly are bulk carriers and tankers. You can see on top, the biggest part is bulk carriers. The orange is tanker, and then also container is a quite good satisfaction. I mean, this is the biggest market of container we have in RINA. Maybe yes. You would like to add something on this?
Yes, that this is a market that traditionally, if you permit me to say, Nello, is that bulk carriers have been always half, more or less, of our gross tonnage, and container ships that traditionally we didn't have so many. Greece, we had the support of important clients that operate and are increasing their fleet, so RINA is supporting them. The key word is always to support our clients, I think. So this was the way to do it.
Yeah. And in this slide you can see the reason why I'm here today, and just to inform you on these, let's say, organizational changes we are just implementing in Greece. So we decided, starting since January this year, to make two moves actually. One is to allocate the responsibility of the whole Africa continent and Spain under Spyridon Zolotas. I mean, Greece will be the main office controlling all the RINA activities in Africa, most of the Mediterranean area, including Spain. And
Black Sea.
And Black Sea, yeah. And this is a quite important move, let me say, because so doing, Greece will become one of the main area, Massimo, of our entire network. I mean, if you consider the number and kind of owners that are controlled by Spyros, and even the extension of the geography. Africa is a big challenge for us because we don't have a big network so far in Africa, so it's a big challenge for Spyros because we'll try to develop, yes, the find solution, develop also that business. The second thing that looks let me say, a minor issue, but is a very important one, is that for the first time in our history, we moved one activity, that the core of the activity that was based as usual in the head office in Genova, that is the Global Marine Training. We moved all this activity to Greece. That means that the head office in RINA for that activity will be Greece. So all the strategy for the marine training, all the whatever regards the brain of that activity will be based here in Greece. So in Genova we don't have, unless we deliver some courses under the control of the Greece. In Italy we don't have anymore this kind of office. This is one idea. Myself and our colleagues we have is to avoid to have all concentrated in Genova in one single building just because it's the head office. So we are trying to decentralize some activities with particular regards to where we think is better to have that activity. I mean, if ship owner, the biggest ship owner communities here in Greece, we are trying to allocate here in Greece most of the activity that mainly are concentrated in the head offices of the classification societies. This is my idea. So I think and I hope in the future more pieces of activity that are, let's say, directed by Genova can be found somewhere else in the world of RINA network, let's say. And actually, we started this process of giving to Greece, more important, already back in 2017, because we established here a couple of years ago a kind of a classification center. Again, classification is an office that typically is in the head office of the classification society, and we moved a piece of this here in Greece. This classification and support center actually is a group of persons doing, giving support to the clients for every request, every need. I mean, interpretation of the rules, anticipation on a new rule, or maybe problem on a ship, helping the owner to solve the problem.
Relationship with the administrations.
Relationship with the administrations, even administrations, not only Greek administration, but all the administrations. I mean. And also the research center that is a center that we already established, and now it belongs to the training center because Stefanos is in charge for both. And this is something very useful. We work on projects from the EU, and we have a very good relationship, thanks to Stefanos, with the university here in Athens. And this is something that we want to always reinforce and establish in a strong way. Ancora un'altra. And this is, I'll leave the floor just to Spiros. This is just a picture of the new structure of the Greece. And what I like to highlight is that up to 3-4 years ago, Piraeus was just a branch office in the world network of RINA. Now, if you look at this structural chart, it looks more and more a structure of a small head office of a classification society, and I can tell you that we intend to populate this chart even more than this, because I think that in this area, in this part of the world, we will establish more and more central activity. So we are not duplicating things that we have in Italy, we are just moving things that now are in Italy, and we want to give the power to our people in here to establish the rules for all the RINA network, of course. In the meantime, I have to say that we have already almost 50 persons here in Greece, and we doubled the people in 5 years, 3-4 years. And under the control of Spiros, if we consider also Africa and Spain, I think you will soon reach about 100 persons under your control. So this is a big number in RINA, if you consider that we have 450 surveyors worldwide. 100 people, of course, are not only surveyors, but only staff and technical guys and supporting guys. And the important thing is that this kind of structure is not a structure where we expect surveyors to be added. Most of the ships of Greek owners, they don't do inspection in Greece, they do inspection in Asia maybe, so the surveyors are in Asia. So the people we are providing to this structure in Greece are very qualified people. I mean, are people who belongs to engineering center, people who belongs to support center. We are trying to have here some specific competencies. We're thinking about fuel or about, I don't know, electrical issues. Environmental issues. So we want to have technical, let's say, competencies other than the normal surveyor of a typical classification society. So this is the reason. We are building up something that is not just the final delivery, let's say, office with surveyors, but we want to have a small head office of our activity. Thank you. Thank you.
Just to add, if I may, that yes, correct. I remember this office from '96. That I joined RINA, and back in 2008, it was the first thing that we did to establish a plan approval. So this organization chart we see here, it was having the marine office, the surveyors, and the plan approval, doing consultancy job practically to elaborating all the projects of our clients and approval of drawings. This is, as Mr. Sulfaro said, the key point is here in Greece to give support because here are the clients. So these three became bigger, and we established 2 years ago a Marine Technical Support Center, that it is the South Europe and Africa technical support that we see on the right. with excellent results, because there are dedicated engineers with experience that daily they resolve those problems that he mentioned before. And this is the kind of support the clients need. It's not only they need quality services on time, which is a KPI for us to give, if possible, same day replies to what they ask. The plan approval is the one that I referred before, that now becomes South Europe and Africa plan approval. It will help also the other offices of the area more. And then Romania, we have activities of new buildings, is an important area for us. We are building tankers there in the Constanța shipyard. Spain, we have also new buildings, very important area with clients and shipyards. I want to mention yachting. Here in Piraeus we have done a lot of good things in yachting, and now we are number one, I think, in the statutory certification. So the protocol that the yachts have are mostly issued by us. We have a network of surveyors around Greece. We don't have only Piraeus. We have in Thessaloniki, we have in the island of Kos, Kalimnos, we have in Corfu, we have here in Attica, broader Attica area. So we are covering the whole area with more people that can deliver services in the marinas, and we have done a lot of interesting, let's say, job. Of course, also mega yachts is part of our business. We have over 80 mega yachts that we follow from this area here. So more or less this, behind all these boxes are people. The RINA is a people's company. We are not offering, our services are based on the know-how of our people, on the face of our people. Also all classification societies are giving similar services. I think, Nello, if you permit me to say, that the difference we make is our people being there, being positive, being open to discussion in order to find the solutions. Maybe it sounds like a cliche, but we really believe on that, and the success that we had, I think, was based on this kind of investment on proper people. This is from my side.
Actually, other than the Spyros opinion, this is what we are receiving back as information from the clients in Greece. This is exactly what ship owners in Greece are just saying to us. So we are very happy to hear this, and this is the right way, and we will continue on that. Spyros, you mentioned the yachting center. You're right, I forgot it. For RINA, yachting is quite important. We have leadership also in the yacht sector, because we are the number one if you consider the number of yacht classed yacht as number, not as a total tonnage, because if you consider the tonnage, ABS is the first one, because the ABS alloys, they are more focused on bigger yachts. We are really focused on the yachts that are more or less between 30 and 50 meters. And if you consider the number of yachts, we are the first classification society in terms of number of yachts classified. And we dedicate 4 dedicated yachting plan approval, yachting center. One is here in Greece, one is in Italy, one is in the UK, and one is in Turkey. So those are plan approval, fully dedicated with people specialized in yachting, and they do only yachting activity. So, and as Spyros mentioned, we are the first classification society in doing this kind of specific protocol for statutory national yacht in Italy and in Greece, only in these 2 countries. There are 2 national laws according to which pleasure craft, small pleasure craft, have to be certified according to local law, national law, that are different country by country. And in Italy we call it annotazione di sicurezza. In Greece, I don't know how you call it in Greek.
Protocolo γενικής επιθεώρησης.
Yes, and we are doing this on behalf of the administration, of course, and this is something that we continue to do. We continue to invest on this.
Okay, so Massimo, would you like to add?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being here. I'm here in my capacity as the manager who has responsibility over the EMEA region. We call EMEA Europe, Middle East and Africa, Europe except Italy, because as you can imagine, for RINA, Italy is a specific area that is dealt with apart. I cannot say much more than my colleagues said, but first of all, I want to say we are very proud of being more and more successful in a country like Greece, because you perfectly know that Greece is probably the biggest, most important hub in the marine business. We all know that the world is often looking at Greece as the lighthouse, when, especially in times of crisis. So we all know that Greece is a very important hub in our business, and being rewarded with the client's satisfaction and the fleet growth that you can see makes us proud, because also we can understand that we made the right move. The right move was very simple, if you want, because ship owners and in general marine stakeholders, they are like us. Every one of us every day faces problems, and we are looking for solutions. And when you can provide a smart solution to people to make a step forward, the reward doesn't come as a reward itself. It's the recognition that a partnership has been established. So the ramp you see in our fleet growth is strictly connected with the moves we've made in the organization to be closer to the clients. I can tell that this is basically the recipe for success, in my view. We are experiencing the same in Northern Europe. It's not been easy for us to penetrate the Northern European market. There are many parallels you can make with Greece. Again, if you are able to provide the right support to the clients, you are rewarded with success, because a partnership can be established. And so I am sure that, as Mr. Sulfaro said, we will be investing more and more in Greece, because we see, let's say, that it is possible to create more than business relationships, partnerships. And this is a crucial way to work together, especially when in times like we are living in, the regulatory framework is difficult to face and whatever. The teamwork is very important, and feedback from the industry and being able to listen to the needs makes us able also to create smart rules and smart solution for everyone. So this is what I can say, and I really like to underline the ability of people to talk together, make a team, and be successful together. Thank you.
Thank you, Massimo. Stefano, would you like to give us a flash or a teaser, let's say, of what will be the global training of RINA? What are the basic principles, something to be thinking of?
First, we are very honored about this decision, and we understand the challenge, which is very big, because we are going to manage the global marine training activities from here. I can say only one thing, that we understand training as a knowledge transfer process between our organization and the industry. We also understand that training has to be of the highest quality, because this is what we understand being involved in training in this very, very important market, in the Greek market. And we also, because we are covering also, as you see in the flowchart, the research and innovation activities of RINA in the area, our focus will be to offer the highest quality training by combining this innovation and research activities that we as organization have. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Stefano. If you would like to add something, or otherwise we can pass to some questions if there are. Of course, this presentation, along with the latest, I think, calendar of our academy here in Greece, plus a press release that we will send you later, but it's also on site on your desk. But we are digital today, going more digital, but some people like to touch paper, like me, I confess. So, this was my choice. So if any question, we would please to discuss or discussion or comment or anything is we are open.
Yes, please.
The first question from me. What are the specific plans?
I don't know exactly. What I personally decided is, okay, we are not starting now with this activity of training. RINA had, actually still has a company, a legal entity called RINA Academy that is in Italy, and that company was supposed, RINA is 60% about of that company. We had the governance of the company, of course, and that was our way to deliver training, of course. My personal decision, as I was not so happy how the things were going, was to review completely the structure of the training delivered by the business unit Marine, and my decision was, okay, where I want to have the heart, I mean the people who make the strategy of this activity. I want these people, not necessarily in Genova, but close to the biggest ship owner community. So I personally, then I discussed it with some colleagues just to confirm if my view was more or less, let's say, acceptable also to the others. And then I decided to have this kind of move. Then here my competence stopped, and we know, because Spyros told me that we had the right person in the company, Stefanos, and I said, listen guys, up to you, you have to organize something, thinking not only to the Greek market, but we have to think as the whole business unit Marine. You have to be able to satisfy the needs of all clients worldwide in RINA. So this is their task, and maybe Stefanos can give us some details on how he is thinking to organize this activity.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Sulfaro. Of course, RINA has a long experience in training, and the head office, the RINA Academy, has created quite a lot of work in the previous years. But being here, engaged in training with the shipping companies in Greece, we understand that we have to move on in a new training media, training ways, to be more flexible, to be more good listeners of the needs, because the needs are changing. The competence needed in the shipping company now change. We are in a transition period, in a transition era, the digital area, as we all say. New competencies are needed on board and ashore. We try to understand these needs, and we will create, we are already creating new training to cover these needs. Traditional training will stay, classroom training will stay, but we also thinking of producing new material and new media, e-learning, webinars, distance learning. This is the way that we are thinking of proceeding. And we have the privilege of being close to the shipping companies in Greece, which are giving us the feedback of these needs, and we'll try to cover it from here to all over the world. Thank you.
If I may, coming back to your question, where the answer is to a certain extent, I don't know. I want to underline this. I think that training is the perfect ground, is one of the perfect grounds where you can really be a partner. Because, when it comes to standard services like class, proximity to the client is important, but there are rules, so the path is already traced, mostly. But when it comes to training, if you think about that, training is really the expression of what people need. So I think that in respect of training, really it is of paramount importance our ability to listen, because this is where you really have to understand the needs of someone. And Stefanos is right. The world is changing at a fast pace, and so needs also are changing. So it's important here that we are able to provide to people the training they need in the way it is needed. And every day it could be different. This is really where we can, let's say, shine as a partner, as a person able to listen to the needs. So we have a long list of training which is available, but I think that the core point here is not to propose what we sell, but to create the training people need to have less headaches in their day-to-day business. So it's an ever-changing proposal, I would say.
If you think every activity is linked to training, just to make an example, a couple of months ago we delivered the first cruise ship LNG fueled. Massimo knows much more than me because the ship was delivered in Papenburg, Germany, and he was more than me in control of this activity. And first ship LNG fueled. You can imagine the let's say competence of the crew members on LNG. And when we say crew members, don't think only to the engineer or people dealing directly with the gas propulsion, but everybody should be in a way aware that on board the ship there is a gas, there are rules to be followed, there is something different than the past, of course. So just an activity like this, I mean, makes training needed to the crew members and maybe to the people in the technical offices of the company. So this is just an example. Every new activity, new things can be so with the training on the side. Need of training on the side, and this is the way we should work, in my opinion. We have also to suggest the owner maybe to be proactive. Not just, also, let's say, reacting to the request or need of the owner, but we have to also be proactive and try to understand where we can be of help to the owner, especially with this new technology or with this new, propulsion system or whatever.
Any other question or comment? Stefano, yes.
I was wondering, regarding the plan approval department of RINA in Piraeus, now many shipping companies are in process in complying with the new regulations, environmental regulations, such as sulfur cap 2020 and ballast water treatment management. Have you seen an increase in demand in these kind of projects, in retrofitting, for example, a scrubber system, or in retrofitting a ballast water treatment system? How do you deal with these new environmental regulations?
Since it is my daily job, I try to give a reply, which is absolutely yes, what you say. Ballast water treatment systems we receive daily in our plan approval in Piraeus, and the scrubber system. So it seems that Greek shipping companies are investing on both systems. One of them, of course, the ballast water treatment system is the only solution that they can have. They are obliged, according to this complex framework that is unbelievable to follow. So we try to assist them also in this labyrinth between US Coast Guard requirements, IMO requirements, and this kind of thing. So the ballast water system is a daily routine. Last 3 days we had 3, 4, 5 vessels, one next to the other, that we will have been approving in the pipeline of our plan approval. So many scrubbers, although it's a big discussion among all the ship owners, we see is a reality, and you know, because you are discussing, you are in this community, which is around us in an area of 20 kilometers. You find some of the biggest ship owners of the world. we see that most of them, even a part of their fleet, they install scrubbers. Some of them even much more than a part of their fleet. So also there we have the competence here in our plan approval. We have started already approving this kind of system. It's not so easy. It is more complex because it is a system that involves all the other systems of the vessel technically, electrical, piping, structure, stability, and the system itself to be approved on board. So it's rather complex, but is a solution. So we are there to assist them in the proper application. As Mr. Sulfaro said earlier, this is also our basic point here in Greece to support, because the majority of the jobs, unfortunately, are, or this is the reality, are happening in Far East or in other areas. Let's hope that our shipyards, with the latest things that we always hear or we always hope, would be more active, and why not? They lost, I think, now the opportunity of installing scrubbers for Greek owners. They are not ready to do, but could have been a great opportunity for the Greek shipyards, Elefsinas, Karamangas, Syros, these kind of shipyards, to make all these kind of retrofits that I'm afraid will finish only to Far Eastern shipyards. But nevertheless, coming back to your question, yes, our plan approval is fully qualified for all the competences to do it, and we actually perform.
Yeah. Yes, just to say a word also of what's going on outside Greece, exactly the same. So we have a plan approval in Italy, we have a specialist excellence center in North Europe. All these guys are daily involved in discussion with the owners, trying to support them in their decision. I don't want to enter in the political, let's say, decision. Is it this sulfur cap requirement correct or not correct? This is something that IMO decided. But what I can tell you is that talking to the owners, ship owners, talking to the industry, what we see, I had the chance to have some words on this issue before with one of your colleagues. What we see is that there is no unique solution so far. There is no unique solution. I was personally in touch with the big ship owners, important ship owners, and believe me, there are people who make the, let's say, consideration for this fleet, their fleet, and say scrubber is the only solution for us. They are convinced, they have numbers supporting their decision, and they go for the scrubber. There are people that say, no, scrubber is not the right solution for me. For sure, in the first step after 1st of January, the only two solutions we see for an existing ship is either scrubber or you used the compliant fuel. New building, we are experiencing people thinking to the LNG as a possible solution. Actually, by chance, in less than 6 months, we had delivery of the first cruise ship classed by RINA, the Aida Nova. We had the delivery of the first, let's say, small ferry sailing in the Mediterranean area. This is a small, very small ferry built in Turkey for an Italian ship owner, Caronte. Is connecting the Strait of Messina with Villa San Giovanni, and this is dual fuel. And we had, within the same time window, the first ship gas-fueled ferry built by an Italian shipyard, Vicentini, for Balearia. So in 6 months we had 3 deliveries. I have also to say that on 3 ships, 2 are regularly sailing with gas. So the Aida Nova is regularly sailing and cruising with gas. They have an agreement with Shell, Massimo, and Shell is supplying gas in Las Palmas, I guess, I don't know, with barge or...
Yes.
Prima fammi finire. And the Balearia is sailing in the Las Palmas, in the Barcelona area, so they have the possibility to have refueling in Barcelona. The third one, the small one in Messina, after 1 week, when the gas finished, when the tanks were empty, they have no chance to do refuel, and they go by, so far they go by normal fuel.
Yes, as you know, let's say for the time being, what we hear from the industry is that LNG is a good alternative, but mainly I would say from what we hear, and we can share this opinion for new buildings, it's not so easy and not so cost effective to retrofit a ship with LNG. problems of bunkering remain, but there is a break because, for example, the Aida Nova delivery and the contract with Shell had triggered the guarantee that terminals like Rotterdam and Barcelona work 100% as bunkering stations. You consider that Aida Nova is 180,000 gross tonnage, 6,000 passengers. The capacity of the LNG tanks is 3,000 cubic meters. So you cannot refill this with truck, you really need an LNG terminal. They make bunkering 50% every week. They can cruise for 2 cruises with full LNG, and they are doing that. So just because of this, and just because the 2 terminals are there, this has turned into a bigger trust in LNG. It's not, we are not seeing hundreds of ships popping up like that, but we had recently the feeling that there is an escalation in LNG projects that we didn't expect. This probably will remain to the new building market. As Nello says, I have the same feedback in Northern Europe. Clients are choosing scrubbers or compliant fuels, depending on the needs. Typically, there they say if we are experiencing a coastal trade, it will be compliant fuels because nevertheless we have to go to very low sulfur fuels. If we are trading internationally, we could consider scrubbers, and then it becomes purely a technical commercial decision, also based on the trading area and other things. So the reply from the market is yes, there is not a unique solution. You have to find the right solution for your business.
Any other question? May I ask? Because we are focused always on this, because this the hot topic of today, not only tomorrow, on this scrubber and fuel and these kind of things, but there are also a couple of other things that are headaches for tomorrow, not today. Maro, would you like to give us a very quick flash of what you are living today, because you are the ear of our customers?
Thank you, Spyros. Yes, from the position of business development manager, I meet daily, on a daily basis, customers and existing and future customers of RINA, and there are certain concerns around more operational issues. The one I would say is the inventory of hazardous material. It's a regulation that is to be effective from 1st January 2021. It looks quite far, but in reality it's not. The thing there is that every ship from 500 GT and above, it means practically all ships, including some big yachts, have to be to carry on board an inventory of hazardous material booklet. This is something that creates a bit of stress to the companies, not so much because it's a costly thing to do as the IMO 2020 fuel, but because it takes a lot of documentation to prove what materials are on board and what if there is a hazardous material on board or not. So this is a service that we offer to customers, either the vessels are classed with RINA or not, and our effort is to try to calm them and say that okay, there is a way. We have already built experience by having done already 50 vessels, and there are another 50 or more in progress. So there is a way with our help to collect the documentation, to be compliant by that day, without really risking to have to use a lot of resources and to be a costly thing. So IHM is something that is coming, and we really encourage our customers to do it, to start it from in advance, in order not to be at the last minute and rushing to do the compliance. The second thing that is also putting quite stress and is relevant to the IMO 2020 is the fuel management implementation plan, which is not a requirement by the regulation, so there is no certificate to be provided to the vessel, but it's a recommendation from the IMO to have such a plan on board, so that port stage control can have a more, let's say, structured and direct way to see if the vessel is doing the management of the new fuel in a proper way. So this is something that we again try to help our clients by providing the methodology to develop this plan, to do the risk assessment, to develop the procedure that will check whether the supplier is compliant with the fuel that is supplied by the bunker supplier is compliant. What to do in case a fuel is not compliant, or in case there is a problem. Sometimes the fuels may be the result of a blended. So we try to support our clients with all these uncertainties that really have to be put in order before the date of the effective date of the regulations.
Thank you. Yes, I think this is the thing to be next to our clients and producing what they expect for. Any other question or any other comment? Okay, so if there is nothing else, we can continue with the coffee, if you like, with us and chat a little bit more. The day is quite stressful today. There are other events happening. Thank you once more for being with us.
Thank you.
Kalimera.
Thank you.